Welcome back to the show. This is Joy News. This is the Pulse. Let's move away and let's talk about power issues. Now, the Ghana grid company, GRIDCo, says its engineers are on the ground this afternoon working around the clock to restore power to parts of the capital plunged into darkness following yesterday's fire at Ecomog, a slum community at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle here in Accra. GRIDCo says there has been an outage to its 161 kV at Chimota to Accra Central Transmission Line and conductors following the fire incident. We will bring you excerpts of a statement released shortly. But earlier, my colleague Rejoice Semefa Pesu was at Ecomog Circle to interact with victims who want government to intervene as they count their losses.
It's over here, leaving many residents homeless. Now this morning, many parts of Accra still remain in darkness due to the fire outbreak yesterday because this place has a number of high-tension electric poles that connect to many parts of Accra. We have GRIDCo officers on the ground. They are doing the assessment.
So we've done an initial assessment. We've seen that our transmission line cable on this transmission line, it serves Achimota to Accra Central. About 150 meters of the cable have been damaged, and so the line has been put out of service. It's been isolated because for safety reasons we don't want anyone to get electrocuted or hurt. Because even under these current conditions, there's still some electromagnetic current in the wires. So we are trying to get cables to barricade the area so that people don't come and touch or get caught up in any incident. So mainly our towers have also suffered some burn. Later on they will be retreated and restored, and then we also have some conductors that have been affected. They will also be replaced, and the insulators to be looked at. If they are still in good condition, we'll leave them. So essentially that work has begun. I'm sure you see some of the engineers have come with additional equipment. So it will continue like this for the rest of the day and for as long as it will take. But I don't project it will be too long. We are told that they will quickly do this work. So this particular transmission line, it terminates at Accra Central bulk supply point. So what we've done is we've been working and have got some additional load coming from Malam substation so that others can be served. But as to which individual area, that doesn't sit with GRIDCo because GRIDCo is a bulk supplier. We only supply to ECG, and then ECG determines who gets the power and how. But we know that because this line is out of service, there's been a reduction in the power that ECG will get to serve everyone. So I can't give you the particular areas, but by close of day today, everyone should be restored. So it will take a while. I think the priority now is to repair this cable, the transmission cable that has been destroyed. So the engineers have been speaking to identify additional equipment and spares that can be brought here for work to be done. So what I will say is that being under these transmission lines are very dangerous. It's not safe for human habitation. And that is why, not just for this particular transmission line, for all our transmission lines, our 161, 225, 330 transmission, kV transmission lines across the country, we go around from time to time. We have a right-of-way team that goes around and clears people from these transmission lines. But your station knows even better than me that people always come back.
But we have the regional minister also coming through. He has been saying that henceforth they wouldn't allow anybody to raise structures over here again, and they will get anyone who will attempt raising structures here arrested.
You see the GRIDCo transmission lines, a national asset. This fire that gutted the place, if it affected any of the lines, we're all gone. And I'm so sad that human beings are living under these pylons at the peril of their lives. But I've instructed that nobody should live here anymore. Nobody. And we mean it. Because as regional minister and the regional security council, it is our duty to protect every life and property. So A gentleman, he said he's a chief around here. And I've told him that I'm pleading with him. We don't want these things to continue. We don't want any third fire. Therefore, they should prepare and leave. We'll make sure we put men on the ground to make sure nobody, and I mean nobody, leaves here. I mean my words. And anybody who try to rebuild will arrest the person and send him to court. I'll put the soldiers and the police on the ground. Anybody who comes here and try to build will arrest him. I mean it, because we mean serious. This time we're not going to joke. That indiscipline, that recklessness that people go around the region doing, we're not going to allow.
Right, Honorable, is there any plans underway to make sure that we get an alternative place for these people?
Where are we going to get it? Accra is choked. These are all squatters. It's unfortunate. Government cannot, where are we going to get it from? It's very difficult. There's no way we can get a place for them to live. So I'm sure they've been doing a lot of business around. So they might have done some savings. So they can look at other alternatives. But government hasn't got that muscle to get them a place.
I spoke to one woman with twin babies. They slept in the open yesterday without a cover cloth.
Morning. From Salima.
Okay. And who was structure Wahana? Okay.
And I Wahana as a son of my way. And so you know my intimate union ashe. Oh, I won't call him you know for me. They say, as a can you ashe. They have my or more. A boy, because you know, one so man for a fat. They say, call me, no, get to me, no money machine. They say, I better show them.
Colano, any ubano, and no more.
Yada haya, any baby da. See a niska go jide. See a bayan, better haya, so your boys. A hayana yada.
I'm the one washing come here, so I come know everything. Scatter my 5,000 there my inside. All my things. You see, I'll not tell anything about me. As I talk, I have 50,000 in my inside where it been now. I swear. The afternoon where I live here, so I don't know what's happening for here. As I come inside, as I come here where I get call. So even myself, I'm not sure. Say here, I'm not sure. So I be now where I come see say now it's true, you know. 50,000 is not easy. Since my clothes, my slippers, even I buy dress where I go give to my mom, lace, everything. I have my kid brother slippers, my younger sister slippers, clothes, shirts, everything, bags. Even this cap I have two. One is inside, but I don't, how? I can't find it.
All right, so you welcome back. Let's get the very latest on the power situation. Jifa Bampo is manager of corporate communications at GRIDCo. Jifa, it's a pleasure to have you. My former news editor.
You needed to say that. Hello,
right.
Elton, and thanks for having me.
So your initial assessment, what is it telling you?
Well, essentially that the line has to be restored. And so the engineers are working on it still. So when I'm done with the engagement here, I'll go back to the site to see how far, but they believe they can finish today to repair the stretch of transmission line that got damaged so that as soon as possible, the line can be put back in service.
So how bad is the situation?
Elton, I must admit, quite bad. Quite bad, because when the fire has affected 4 transmission towers, in terms of the steel members, that is the structure that holds up the transmission. So that has been affected, but it can be restored. Then I was surprised to see the damaged cables totally snapped, lying on the floor. In fact, my concern was anyone who would potentially touch it because it still had some of the sounds, the electromagnetic sounds coming through. So, but that has been taken out now. That was taken down as of 1 o'clock. And so by now, I'm sure the new cables will be up together with the new conductor. When I spoke with your reporter, I told her that we weren't sure if the insulators would be okay, but it turns out that
it worked.
No, they have to replace some aspects of the equipment. So spares have been brought in. and the work is ongoing. It's not easy work, but they're doing it.
So in terms of how widespread this has, you know, in terms of its effect on the populace, which areas are we talking about?
Okay, so I don't have those direct details,
okay.
but based on information that I have gathered, a lot of people within the Dansoman area, parts of people on the Malam Kaswa transmission line have also been affected.
Okay.
So that is the extent of those I know who've been affected by this particular incident. If anybody in other parts of Accra,
that cannot
be local issues or other issues relating to the value chain that may cause these outages.
So as we speak, these areas are still off?
I haven't checked again, but I suspect they may still be off. Our projection is by late evening, there will be restoration.
So as we speak, your engineers are still working?
Yes.
The plan is to restore by close of work today?
Today, yes. So I'll go back anyway.
Could this have been prevented? I know very well that this was a fire outbreak that, you know, the claim is that somebody was cooking, there was gas, there was an explosion, and then it started. And so there's no way this could have been prevented from affecting the power lines.
So, two things I'll say to start with. We thank God that nobody died, because I think fundamentally that's the starting point. Then the second bit is, yes, people are, it's a whole settlement. People are engaged in all kinds of activity. I saw people doing charcoal business. There's a woman selling food and she's cooking with charcoal. I saw others also engaged in welding. I mean, all sorts of things that are hazardous to a transmission line. In fact, nobody should have any business under a transmission line. So this is not just about this Ecomog area. There are slum communities at Fiesta Royals behind. Yes. There's Baaleshi, Ajrengano, Ashaiman, Tem. I mean, it's wide, so it's not just even in Accra. We have Kumasi, we have Western Region, where we've had a lot of Galamsey activities that impact even the structure of these towers. So we had a fall, I think, 2 years ago or something. But I think ultimately, these activities need not and should not be happening under the trans. So it's an opportunity for addressing the right-of-way issues, because we do have legislation that backs this. And this is the Transmission Line Protection Regulations 1967, LI 542, as amended by regulation number LI 1737 of 2004. And it makes it an offense for anyone or persons or institutions to be under these lines. I know many people will ask.
Yet we see them all the time.
And I know many people will say, what have you
Exactly, what have you done to enforce this regulation?
To enforce this regulation. Elton, we've done quite a bit, but we do face resistance. So it's heartwarming to hear the Honorable
the regional minister,
Greater Accra Regional Minister, Titus Glover, indicate that no one will be allowed to live at this particular settlement. But it doesn't end with this settlement. Yes, GRIDCo needs significant support to execute a campaign that clears people from under the transmission lines. But we have a right-of-way team. We actually go around to clear. In fact, 2 years ago, my baptism of fire in GRIDCo was a clearance around the Fiesta Royale. It was my first major crisis. Joy was there.
Some people have turned that place into a vegetable farm.
Joy was there.
Exactly.
And they even captured, similar to what your reporter captured today, a nursing mother and her newborn. And it made GRIDCo look a bit insensitive. But the reality is that we shouldn't have anyone living under the lines. I know sometimes people look at these lands and think, oh, it's free land. But it's not. Usually, GRIDCo would have acquired the land to execute these projects. The reason we have the expanse and space is so that we can upgrade. So sometimes you have one transmission line, sometimes you need to put in a second line and a third. That's why we need that quantum. So we want to appeal not just to the listening and viewing public, but the media as well. I would like in time to partner colleagues so that we can
appreciate these things and then
upscale a campaign so that we can get people to realize the dangers.
The regional minister here in Accra says that he will deploy some security personnel to ensure that the place is maintained. Beyond Accra, I mean, Kumasi, there's been even issues of people, even apart from the fact that they are not supposed to work anywhere close to the high tension lines. Some go to the extent of even removing the bolts and nuts that, you know, help these lines stand firmly. And I'm guessing, I mean, this fire, you had nothing to do with it. You were just sleeping and then it happened. Now, I can imagine how much resources you are pumping into Circle in the last 24 hours just to restore power. And the impact that have on your operations and your finances.
In fact, the right-of-way challenges is the most challenging aspect of GRIDCo's operations business because our transmission lines are over 6,700 kilometers of lines across the country. These are very high kilovolts of transmission lines that, God forbid, were to touch anyone, there will be nobody. It will just be ashes. So we will continue to do what we can. We have informed the relevant authorities, as far as even national security, about the impact of the resistance to people clearing out from the right-of-way. But it's work in progress. Our management and our board are concerned about this, and so they set up this right-of-way team, got a directorate. So there's a director in charge. He was on site today. And I think there's the general feeling that we need to build some momentum from this. We will continue to do our best, but the country is large. The spaces affected are significant, and it's something that we need, not just GRIDCo, but a collaboration of forces. We need leadership, we need assemblies to help us, security agencies, to clear. It costs a lot of money as well to get a bulldozer in and all that. So it's work in progress.
My final question for those who are listening and perhaps still in darkness, what is the assurance for them?
We're doing our best, Elton, to restore power. I must say that when there's an outage, no one gains. And that includes GRIDCo, because we lose money when we can't transmit power. In transmitting power to ECG, that's how we get paid. So when there are outages, not just in these areas that I have mentioned, but in other parts of the country, it affects our bottom line. So we are actually not happy when there are outage issues. Our ambition is to be the backbone for power delivery. That's our tagline, and we want to ensure that Ghanaians have the power they deserve because they are entitled to it. It's their right. So we'll keep working towards it. I'll be going back there if I have any additional updates.
We'll share with us.
Joy, I'm an alumni of Joy, so I'll provide it. But I want to say thank you to your team as well, who've spent a lot of time on this. Thank you to you too.
All right. Yvonne Bampo is head of corporate affairs at GRIDCo Ghana.